Good afternoon, and it's volleyball again at East Brunswick High School as the Bears take on the Payne School from Newark. It's a pretty much of a brand new school, two schools combined, Bloomfield Tech and Newark Tech, and they're coached by one of our formers, right? Brian Johnson. And I'm Frank Noppenberger, and I'm joined here by Marc Mondry, and this is a before the tournament type game. The Bears rated number 12 in the state, 14-6. We've been playing better? Are we in a hot streak? How would you assess our last few games?
Yeah, I think we've started to find kind of the magic combination of players. We moved Ashley Calleja out to outside to give us a little bit of firepower up at the net, and passing and servicing have been coming together big time. So it all starts with that, and once you can run an offense, good things happen.
Well, that's exactly what Brian was saying. Their coach is that it's a brand new school this year. They took kids from both schools, and it takes them about maybe a half a season to get ready with the volleyball. Do you see the same thing happen with the Bears here, half a year to get ready?
I think so. You know, they don't play together all year round. Most of these guys are playing club ball all year round, and so it does take some time for them to gel and figure out what their best individual roles are on the team. I also have to give some credit to Coach Portera, who's been matching things around in practice and seems to have found a winning combination.
Okay, now a little bit here, Coach Mondry. The JVs very seldom get any air time, but you had a nice win today. You lost the first game. You battled back from game point, and you won the third game. So how are the JVs doing?
JV's playing great. This is one of the most talented bunches that I've coached in a long time. And it's about, coming out and playing at your skill ceiling consistently. Not playing down to teams, making sure that your passing is on point and you put away points.
Wow, I'm okay, don't worry about it, didn't hurt. Okay, well, we'll wrap it up with that as I recover, and we'll be back to the start of the game. Well, welcome back, and once again, it's volleyball, and not a conference division. It's a school from Newark that has combined Bloomfield Tech and Newark Tech into one program, and they're coached by a former player for us, Brian Johnson, who was part of that 03 and 04 championship team, just like is my guest here, Marc Mondry. And Marc is now our assistant coach. So the advantage of this game, Marc, is although it's not going to affect anyone's division record or county record, I think both schools need to use this to get ready for their upcoming tournament. How does a coach get them pumped for this game? Because this is bragging rights, Middlesex County versus Essex.
Yeah, I mean, I think there's some built-in excitement here, Frank. You've got Brian Johnson on the other side, one of the better middles come out of the early 2000s here in New Jersey, and he's coming back into our house. He's coming home.
Right.
His picture's up on the wall, so, that's kind of built in. Plus, as you said, we're heading toward playoffs now, so you want to be firing on all cylinders.
Yeah, I mean, both teams by a win today could help with the seeding for the state tournament, which is Monday.
Right.
I'm not sure how much with the PowerPoints it would matter, but it is an important in some respect. Bruce is on the seeding committee, and I think that Christian Patera, our coach, is also. Mm-hmm. So you were part of an 03-04 volleyball state championship. And now how many years have you been the assistant coach or director of the Hippel team that won the states again this year?
That's been quite a while now. I've been teaching 7 years, and so I've been working with that team for actually a little longer than that.
So that's probably a trivia question. What coach has the most state championships in two different activities or sports? That's a good one.
I'll take it.
Okay, so can you give us the starting lineups before we get started?
Absolutely. So for the Bears tonight, you've got Jared Bladice at setter. You've got Eddie Wang at outside hitter. You got William Chen at middle blocker. Sebastian Maluski at opposite. You've got Michael Coyne, number 13, playing middle blocker in the back row. And you've got Ashley Calleja, number 7, playing our OH2. And you just saw Ajay Thomas. He's playing our libero today, number 3 in yellow, just checked into the game.
Okay, very good. Thank you.
And what you see there from Eddie is a lot of body control. Right? He didn't have a great set, but smart ball put in play and lets us live see another day.
What a difference, you know, because I watched your big win in the varsity JV game. Just the height, the jump, the speed of the ball, you know. But they're young kids, so we understand that, but it is interesting.
Yeah, volleyball is one of those sports that you see a ton of growth between freshman and senior year, just because most of the students haven't played before their freshman year. There aren't a lot of youth programs around.
Right.
You saw a pretty tough adjustment there from the Bears, a little out of system. So our setter had to pass that first ball, which meant that Ashley Keha, number 7, took hands, set the ball. It's a very, very difficult skill. And Payne Tech came up with a big block.
Right, so our audience is going to think, is this Greg Rutz talking? Because you guys say talk the same language.
Well, that makes sense given that he coached me 15 years ago.
Correct.
All right, the Bears really need to bring it together here in serve receive. As long as we can get a good pass right now off the serve, they should be able to run an offense. We'll be looking for Sebastian swinging on the outside or potentially Eddie swinging back. And here comes Eddie now. It's a nice
save. Good save by them. Let it go.
And a nice judgment there by Ajay, our setter, to win us the point.
Coach Patera was talking to me before the game, and he was just talking very positively about Michael Coyne and how well he stepped it up as a hitter and a leader of the team, which we all know is so important.
Yeah, absolutely. You know, and it's what's a little bit difficult about us starting off the game is Mike has to start on the bench. Right. He's our M1. He's our strongest middle blocker. And so the way our rotation is designed is to separate our strongest hitters. So he and Eddie, who's serving right now, are going to be as far away from each other in rotation as possible.
Right. So you don't. So you'll always have a strong blocker up there.
That's right. All right, it looks like Payne Tech's putting up a bigger block than some of our boys expected.
Well, yeah. Well, you know, they didn't come down. Bruce didn't bring them down here to lose. I'll tell you. I mean, I'm sorry. That's his father, Bruce. Brian.
Now, Bruce is up in the stands. The voice of Rutgers basketball for a very long time.
Yep, and football.
And so what you're going to see the Bears do now is start running a little bit of a faster offense, a little bit more misdirection. So you saw there a great swing by Sebastian Maluski, gets set up by Jarrett, who makes a great set and getting him a single block.
Because as much as the offense can get into a routine and the defense can do the same, right?
Absolutely.
So mix it up.
All right, it's our job to kind of keep them on their heels a little bit and guessing. If we can put their blockers in position that they have to guess, that means we're going to win every time. Andre Lindo has checked into the game, number 21. He's our defensive specialist. He's going to be serving for William Chen. And a tough miss there.
It's one of my favorites. As a matter of fact, I was talking to Brian before the game about it because his kid put it into net on game point. Second game against you today, right?
Mm-hmm. That's right. And here's Michael Coyne right now. And you can see he's an immediate spark plug coming off the bench.
He's got some nice spring in those legs.
Yep.
And he's relatively new to the sport, right?
He is. He's only been playing a couple years now. I can see the look of kind of regret and disappointment on your face because you kind of know what could have been potentially.
Right, because after so many years, you see it because he is an athlete. And,
yes.
Not saying he would have been an Olympic athlete, but he would have been much better than he is.
Again, every year you can get kids on the floor, they're going to be able to consolidate their skills better. So, you know, the earlier we get them involved in playing volleyball, the better off we're going to be as a program. That's a very strong hit by the Payne Tech outside, but some really nice defense by the Bears.
Good block.
That's a huge block by
Michael?
That's Michael Coyne, that's right.
See, when you get old, it's a little too fast for me. Because both you, Melissa, and Greg were able to see everything much quicker.
Now, we have the advantage of playing with them each day, about 2.5 hours, so we start to recognize them pretty quick. And there's Michael again. And right now, Payne Tech doesn't really seem to have an answer for him. If we can continue to pass the ball effectively, and there's a timeout by Brian Johnson.
Timeout, and I think we're going to go into the huddle to hear what Coach Patera has to say.
Okay, they got one hitter on the outside. They may run the middle a few times, so let's make sure we're ready for the middle, but otherwise we think it's going to go to the outside. Okay, make sure we're setting up that block. Okay, expect it to go to the outside. Make sure we're penetrating. Did a nice job turning it in. All right, let's go. Let's go. Come on. Keep it
Bears
up.
on 3, 1, 2, 3. Bears!
All instruction, right?
And
All
you can see, yeah, it's exactly right. I was going to say, you know, Coach Portera, all business. He's making the adjustments there where saw that Payne Tech is a little over-reliant on that single outside hitter. He's a very good swinger, but if we can make them be predictable, if we can anticipate where they're going, we're going to be in great shape.
Right. Is there a lot of scouting that goes on in volleyball, like other sports like basketball and baseball, when they get tendencies from the pitcher?
For the most part, no. The sport's not there yet. Right? We don't send assistant coaches to go scout teams, see what they're doing. To be honest with you, we see it pretty quickly. Right? The first time you see a team, maybe they'll catch off guard once or twice. But
obviously, within those 12, 13 points, he had their whole offense down.
Right. It's a nice pass by Jay Thomas, and there's the stack we were looking for. Ashley almost putting the ball down. And unfortunately getting called for a net violation there.
Yeah, we had a chance to pick up a point.
Yep. Coach Portera there getting involved, talking about spacing there on that double attack. Here comes that outside attack from Payne Tech again, and a nice dig by the Bears.
Oh, hit the ball, Michael. sorry.
Frank, it looks like you want to get back into the AD's
no,
office.
I don't want to. I
don't. That's Ashley on the outside with the smart swing. And a decent dig by the Payne Tech libero. We got to take advantage of this free ball right now. That's what you were looking for.
Boy, we're not letting the ball hit the floor. I like that.
Yep. You know, it's cliche, Frank, but defense wins championships.
Yeah, in every sport.
Really.
In every sport.
It's the truth. You know, we have lots of firepower on the team. Some really, really strong hitters. Some with several hundred kills over the course of their career. But really, it's about whether we play great defense. And that looks like a double call. A little bit of rough hands from the setter on Payne Tech.
See, the non-volleyball guy didn't see anything wrong, but thank you for being so good and positive about it.
Generally speaking, when you see the ball come out with spin on it, if it's coming out with spin off somebody's hands, somebody made a mistake.
Right.
This will be a free ball to the Bears. We should be able to do basically whatever we want here. A little bit of a tight set, so Eddie makes a good adjustment. Well, a little junkyard volleyball going on there, Frank.
Yeah.
Back and forth.
And I think that's what Coach Johnson was telling his kids.
Yeah.
And I like that timeout he called early in the game. I mean, that's... I just feel sometimes the coaches wait till the game's just about over. Get it before it gets to that point, my thought.
Yeah, it can be a difficult balance, especially at the JV level where I really want to focus on skills growth. And it's a skill, playing through some difficult times and coming together.
I understand that, and I've heard that from coaches. We're going to play through it.
So, it's certainly a balance. I think the closer you get to postseason, as we are right now, the quicker you'll see coaches calling timeouts to try to get the momentum back in their favor.
Okay, good. That's a good point.
That was a nice pass by back row Pat Hennessy there. And no touch at the net, so Bears point. Jay Thomas, the libero, is back to serve, and he has both a float serve and what you saw right there, a topspin jump serve. Very difficult to deal with by the other team.
Well, we had two guys on that. I like that. Yes, it went out of bounds, but I like two guys right up there.
Yeah, one of the things that Coach Portera has been working on in practice is turning the hands in on the blocks to ensure that that ball goes back onto the floor. It's very tough. If you don't do that properly, you can get taken advantage of by a good team. That's a really nice swing there.
Yeah, and they had nobody in the middle.
That's right. And that, believe it or not, is probably not a back row defensive error. That's probably a front row blocking error.
Okay, and that would have been my next question to you.
Yep.
Chris Rutz has told me that, made that comment often.
Yeah, the way that defense is designed in volleyball is the blockers are supposed to take away space. And where that ball just landed, the last point, was the kind of space you're trying to take away.
Right.
It's just too much court to defend against good hitters. So you try to take away space with blocking up front. Jared Bladice with a good float serve coming in. And a right side attack we haven't seen from Payne Tech yet. Coach Johnson's team getting a little creative and caught the Bears off guard.
I was just going to make the same comment about the right side there. Boy, you're good. Thanks, Coach. Good job. As you see, it's 16-10. Obviously, remember, it's the best of 3. It's the Bears against Payne Tech.
All right, so that was a really good attempt by the Bears. You saw them basically reverse courts, right, where Sebastian was taking a swing from the left side, and you saw Eddie on the right side. Unfortunately, didn't convert, but that's a smart setting job by Jared Bladice. And a really nice judgment there by Jay.
It's a good read.
Yes.
Because you don't want to get to that 3 and 4 point, because then you start playing a different approach to the game.
I mean, I'm sure you've seen it over your years, but this is very much a momentum game.
Oh. Well, we saw that last time we were on TV with South Brunswick.
There's a big swing by Ashley Kay. And, we just made the switch to put him to outside. Ashley is an incredible athlete and is very likely to play libero at the next level in college. So he'll be in that special yellow jersey playing only defense. But he's just too strong of an athlete right now to keep him only in the back row at the high school level. There's the nice block we were talking about.
Is he a senior?
He is.
Let's see another timeout. Let's go back in the huddle and see if Coach Patera listened to what Coach Mondry was saying.
Get inside the circle this way, cover up anything that comes over as a tip. Okay. Look, hey, I like the energy. Okay, I love the hustle. That's what I want to see. I like us coming out strong and getting fired up right away. All right, keep it up. Let's go. Close it out now. Close it out.
Bears! All positive and then closing it out. Finish it. You can't let the underdog back in the game or think they can win. I mean, in high school sports, as soon as they start believe they can win, it just changes the momentum.
Yeah, I'm a little ostentatious with this, but the phrase I like to use is drop the hammer. All right, you got to drop their hammer on them. You got to end the game. And so there's Eddie with a nice, strong jump serve. A free ball back, and we should be able to take advantage here. That's Max Alexiev is checked into the game at front row opposite. He's another senior and scholar athlete. And he's just picked up volleyball just a couple years ago also.
You see? That's why, that 9th grade is so important. And I know Greg emphasizes the fundamentals so much down there. And that's why he's super at that level. And I know you do the same at the JV. Learn the skill first.
That's right. I mean, it really is a luxury to have a coach with that kind of experience and that kind of ability down at the freshman level. It makes our job up here, quite frankly, very easy.
Well, we got 3 volleyball, I'm going to say nerds, but in a positive, that they live and die volleyball, right?
I'm comfortable with that term.
But you live volleyball. It's not like a guy that just said, hey, I'll help out.
Right.
You've been living for how many years? And your passion to it rubs off on these kids.
Sure.
Years ago when volleyball was starting out, all these coaches had no volleyball experience and didn't understand the game.
Even Coach Rutz, when he started, his first year I was a freshman here. That was way back when in the year 2001. He hadn't been a volleyball coach before. He's a track star.
Right, but he coached, I think, at...
I think it was Hunterdon Central.
Hunterdon Central, right.
That's right.
And then, of course, he and Coach Arnauer, our first coach, they met very often.
Yes.
Very often. And then Rutz passed it on to Obridge, to Coach Hopman down in Obridge many times. And the head coach at North Brunswick, what's his name now? Oh, geez, I forgot.
I actually don't know, and I'm sorry.
Yeah, you would know him when you saw him. Rutz paid it forward on all teaching their skills.
And there you saw the Bears are starting to come alive on offense. They're kind of smelling blood in the water. You see some strong passing and then some nice finishes up front from Max and from Mike.
Now, see, Middlesex County in volleyball is probably the strongest county in the conference. Now, Payne Tech is from from Essex County. There's a few good schools year in, year out. Milburn's down a little bit, who they beat the other day. Livingston's not having the year, but there's really not. Here we go.
And you can see the bench get real fired up after that. That's what's called a shoot set, Frank.
Right.
And so it's a attack that's meant to basically be faster than defense can try to defend. The burden of execution is way more difficult, right? You need a very strong setter and a really athletic outside. But man, when it's done right, it doesn't look pretty.
Everything looks good, right? It looks easy.
But getting back to your earlier point, you're 100% right, where Middlesex County is really kind of the crown jewel of New Jersey volleyball, and it's been that way for a long time.
Yes.
There's a strong finish by the Bears.
Okay, so here's my philosophy question to you about now. Okay, we beat them relatively easy, you know, even though, look at the score, you decide yourself, audience. Does coach sub now? What is the thinking of the volleyball experts around the state?
That's an age-old question, and I think it does depend on what level you're talking about. At the varsity level, I'm coming right back with my starters. I'm going to establish dominance in game 2, and if I can afford to get my second-string guys in the second half of that game, I will.
Right.
Whereas for me at the JV level, I might make some rotations earlier, because again, the lower you go on the totem pole, whether you're talking about JV or freshman, the more it becomes about skills development and less it is about winning.
And I've always said that when I would talk to people about, you know, you got to play the kids on the lower level.
Right.
Because now, and I don't know if coaches have talked to you, there's a feeling out there in the state, volleyball people, to go back to 3 out of 5.
Oh.
Now, the negative to people is the length of time these kids are going to be.
Yeah, we played some marathon matches when that was back then.
But Coach Patera had a good solution that you would play the JV 2 out of 3 on one gym. They follow one another. And the varsity would play 3 out of 5 on, let's say, the main court. So you're not going to extend their time away from home and homework. And then the last game, of course, wouldn't go up 25. I believe it would be it's either 15 or 21, maybe 15. And then the other part of that is now you're able to play more kids if it's best 3 out of 5.
Right.
Right? You win, you go up 2 games. So now I'm going to play the subs. I'm going to play them and see how they're going to do. And then, hopefully you'd win the next 2 games. So there are pluses and minuses. I used to believe that the time it's going to be too long, but volleyball is getting so good now that the games are quick, better hitters, faster hitters. And if we can cut down the infamous 18-hour warm-up before the game. So what's your thought? 3 out of 5 or 2 out of 3?
Yeah, I'm comfortable with both, Frank. When I first started, we went through quite the transition because when I first started playing...
hold that thought. Give us that second starting
lineup here? Perfect. So you got number 10, Jared Bladice. He's setting. You have number 20, Eddie Wang at the front row outside position. Number 23, Will Chen, middle blocker. And you have number 29, Max Alexiev is checked into the game, a big block on the opposite side. Ashley Calleja, number 7, the other outside. And then again, you've got Ajay Thomas, number 3, playing the libero position.
And that was basically our starting lineup, correct? I mean, from the first game.
That's basically the exact one. He's got Max in now instead of Sebastian. I think Coach Portera is expecting a big block's going to be necessary to deal with some of that outside attack they're seeing. The other piece is I think that he expects more out of Max Alexiev, number 29. He's a junior Olympic swimmer, so he's an incredible athlete. But he just doesn't have the volleyball experience under him. And he's a senior now, we expect him to be able to make some pretty big contribution in the postseason. And so like you talked about, as we're ramping up for the GMC tournament, Coach Portera wants to see what he can do.
Well, you might as well get him into it now, right?
That's right.
Get him into it now because tournament starts and no, we're not taking chances. We've got to know what we can do in the tournament.
So number 8 for Payne Tech just checked into the game. You should see Payne going back to their outside attack now. That's where I think Coach Portera made the adjustment to make sure that Max is front row against him. And here comes Michael Coyne checking back into the game.
Okay.
And Andre Lindo checking in to serve.
I guess you and Pater. Nah, I know you guys work together.
Mm-hmm.
And it's great to see that you both think alike.
Again, it starts at the top. You know, I have to give Coach Rutz a lot of credit. You know, he coached here for 22 years, and he coached a lot of really, really good players. Christian among them. He was a first-team All-State winner back in 2007.
You and Brett. I mean, I'm sorry,
Brian.
Well, there's 3 Bs, and I grew up with Bruce, so it's understandable.
Bruce and Brent both in the stands today here to show support for both the Bears and for Brian's
Mrs.
team.
Johnson, as
That's
a
right.
matter of fact. Can't leave her out.
And you know what? I mean, I really can't sing the Johnsons' praises enough. When the two of them walked in the gym, the entire Payne Tech team ran over and gave them hugs.
Is that right?
They're really adoptive parents of the team, and there's Bruce right there in the audience.
What a great story.
Yeah,
That's
they're
a great
really,
story.
really good people. And here's Pat Hennessy back to serve. The back row opposite right now. Bears up 4-3.
Now, years ago, I don't know what the rule was when you were playing. That wasn't a point.
Yeah, again, the rules have evolved a lot over the years.
Yeah.
So when I first started, that would have been a service error. That's the big block we were talking about from the Bears. Mike Coyne getting up.
That quick serve is one of my favorite plays. Yeah, I don't know if they read it or Mike mishit it or combination.
Yeah, there's a combination of a couple of different things. I think Mike was getting pretty aggressive because he was fired up in that block in the early part of that play. But also the spacing wasn't really perfect there, so it was a tough ball. And there's that tandem attack we were just talking about before. Again, a little misdirection, try to keep Payne Tech on their heels.
Now, when we first started volleyball way, way back, those 2 plays were never even thought of or heard of.
No.
Now it's common.
The game has come a long way in the 15 years.
Not just at East Brunswick, but throughout the state.
Oh, certainly. There's a big block by Mike Coyne. That's number 8. I was telling you, the big outside hitter from Payne Tech. And if we can neutralize that attack, it's going to mean the Bears are in really good shape.
I always complain to Rutz about the lines. That white line, to me, it's deceiving.
It's very difficult, and it can be disorienting going into opposing gyms because they've all got their own setup different from us.
Good save, good hustle.
Really nice touch by the libero, Jay Thomas. And the Bears come away with the point. There's William Chen checking back into the game in front row middle blocker, and Jay heading back to serve. And a big block by Will Chen up front.
Good job, Will. Oh.
I think that might have been out. And the ref calls a lift, where you're not allowed to let the ball sit in the palm of your hand at any time for any kind of meaningful amount of time.
And you've got to have good eyes to pick that up.
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
And there's Will Chen fired up.
All right, Will. Good job. There you can see that. And there's another timeout. Let's go into that huddle.
Let's go. Let's keep up the energy. Okay?
I think you don't really want
Few
pizza.
service errors
I think you want pizza, but you don't really want pizza. So you have anything?
No, let's do it. Come on. Keep up the intensity. High intensity.
There's nothing on the video!
I'm not sure what the cheer is, but I heard the coach say high intensity. So to go back to that 2 out of 3, 3 out of 5, no strong feelings either way.
You know, I think it's really tough. I honestly wish that we started athletics earlier. if we could find a way to do new schedules and start athletics at 1:30 or 2 o'clock rather than bus leaving here at 2:45, then I think you'd be able to comfortably accommodate that 3 to 5 you're talking about.
And you're in the field of education. I'm kind of at it. Aren't they thinking now of putting the elementary switching times? There's some talk about that.
There have been a lot of stakeholders having a lot of discussion in East Brunswick about the schedule, and I expect in the next couple of years we're going to be looking at something a little bit different at the high school level.
Well, there's something like a block, but throughout the state they're doing studies that the elementary kids should start early.
Right.
Because the high school kids need more time to sleep. So, hey, it's a philosophy. Because when I first started here, dismissal was at 3:10.
Wow.
So in 1977, we dismissed at 3:10. And I guess the elementary was early, and now since then, obviously, it's flip-flopped. All right, back to volleyball. Sorry, everyone out there. 11-7 the Bears, as you see.
Another nice block by Will Chen.
If you just joined us, I'm Frank Noppenberger, and I'm joined by former outstanding player and current JV coach Marc Mondry. And the opponent you may not recognize is Payne Tech from Newark, coached by former Bear Brian Johnson.
There's a failed timing attack by Payne Tech.
That's experience, right?
It's a lot of different things, but yes, absolutely. You know, again, like we talked about before, the faster you try to run an offense, the higher the difficulty curve is. And so when you try to speed it up like that, you become more prone to errors.
Good point. But you got to give Brian a lot of credit. He's really working on getting them into a power. And I told him, winning is contagious. And in that whole Newark school system, you start winning, you'll get the athletes.
That's for sure. Brian took over this program about 10 years ago and really started it from scratch and is now
yes, it was
one of the premier programs in Essex County.
Right, they're I think they're the number 3 seed in their county tournament.
Yeah.
Which comes up, which is nice. That's whole of Essex County. And I don't care what county it is, it's still, you're the number 3 seed.
And again, it goes back to the education and training he got here at East Brunswick. You know, it's that emphasis on the fundamentals that you talked about so many times, what you're seeing here in practice. Some strong defense by Payne Tech, and now we're out of system. You know, we need to make some adjustments, and Max looked very smart there.
Max saw that opening there, right?
He did.
Good vision.
Well, with a vantage point of about 6'6", it makes it a little easier to see those open spots.
And jumps like and they all jump. It's amazing.
Oh, yes. And Eddie Wang chalking that line with a really strong jump serve to the corner.
Yeah, Tech wasn't ready for that.
I don't know if anybody could have been ready for that.
You could have.
That's incredibly difficult to deal with.
Get up.
And the Bears are on fire.
We're on a roll here right now, right?
You can see the benches fired up, standing up, getting excited. This is what playoff volleyball is going to feel like in a couple of weeks.
Like I said, that seating is this Thursday, and I'm sure they're going to have it online by noon. I know Coach Mr. Yanazzo will have it up there also.
Yeah, and we had a really good vantage point there. Ashley K, number 7, ended up under the net. Set a little tighter than he expected.
Last time Greg and I did this, there must have been 15 under the net violations. And I don't know if there's the way they were calling it, plus a lot of, it's not called a carry. What is it called now?
A lift.
A lift.
A lift. Yeah, and honestly, Frank, you're seeing some clean volleyball today. 2 very strong programs that are putting on a really good show. And there's Max with the easy put away. Again, starts with defense by the Bears.
Right, and they were out of position there, I think.
That's right.
Boy, the momentum, you said it earlier, we've got it going right now.
Part of that is natural to the game, where because you have forced rotations and people have to move around on the floor, if you have one of your best players in one of their weaker positions, sometimes it can be very difficult to get out of that rotation.
Yeah, I've heard that often with the volleyball experts. And, what happened, Coach? We couldn't get into that rotation. We couldn't get out of the rotation.
Yeah, and the game is advanced enough today where we have statistics that will track how many points we score in each rotation and how effective we are versus different teams in different positions.
And that's what the manager doing on the tablet right there.
That's exactly right. She's statting the entire game. And those managers, man, they are essential.
And there's no more pad and pencil. What is going on here? We got technology involved in volleyball now.
Yeah, I mean, and Greg was one of the pioneers of that.
Oh, yeah, I remember.
15
Absolutely.
years ago, he was using that same program.
He was one of the first. I remember him coming to me and with the proposal and how it's going to help.
It's made a big difference. And really, it's the kind of standard at the college level, but at the high school level, East Brunswick very much at the forefront of technology there.
Ooh! First time. First bad play all year, all day.
There's a little bit of miscommunication by the Bears. Ashley and Jared looking at each other, wondering why the other person didn't get the ball.
Well, just like that, it's 5 points.
We're looking for Eddie to make a big pass here. That ball's going out. And Bears are bailed out by a mistake by Payne Tech.
And I see Brian with a long sigh. Poor Brian. That's so tough.
That's one of those things as a coach that you just have no control over whatsoever, and those are the things that are the most frustrating.
Oh, my goodness. To me, it's like walking a man with the bases loaded.
Yep. And a very tight call there by the up ref. He called a double on that set, and honestly, Frank, it looked pretty clean to me.
Yeah, well, I couldn't tell you, but I do know these guys have been around.
Yes.
They've been reffing us a long time.
And I think what you're seeing here is the unraveling of the Lions.
Yeah, they've lost their intensity. And there's a good, all right, I'm Coach Johnson right now. What I'm saying is, hey, let's play hard for the remaining of this game.
Yep.
But what about Coach Patera?
Yeah, I mean, the magic of volleyball is that if you're scoring points, the other team can't be scoring points.
Right.
So there's no score that's insurmountable. I think if you're Coach Portera, again, this is about playing fundamental volleyball and finishing out a team that you're well ahead of and should finish.
Yeah, finish strong. I've always said that, your season, your teaching, your coaching, whatever it is, finish strong.
Yep.
And that's what I'm sure Brian is telling his kids there. We came down here. Let's play this game out hard. If we lose it, fine, but let's give it our best effort.
Realistically, this is a little bit of a mismatch despite the records being close to even.
Right.
Again, we were talking about Middlesex County being so incredibly strong. 4 losses in our county is an incredibly strong record, and we're in really good shape heading into the postseason.
Right. Well, that's good.
So what Brian was actually telling me, though, before the game is that they had brought up a couple of freshmen and sophomores that are playing varsity right now. So he is really excited about what this Payne Tech team is going to look like in a couple of years. It's a really nice pass by Ashley Callahan, and as you can see, Mike with a strong finish.
Yeah.
If we can continue to dig balls and pass that effectively.
Well, that's what Brian wants to bring them in here. He wants to show them this is what big-time volleyball is. He's comfortable here. He knows he'll be treated with respect and class here. I'm not saying other schools won't, but it's guaranteed that he will here.
Yeah, speaking from experience, I'll tell you, it's nice to come back into the gym that you played so hard in for so long.
Right.
A nice strong set by Jared Bladice to Eddie Wang with the conversion. And looking for the Bears now to close this out. I expect that Coach Portera is going to tell Ashley Callahan to fire up a jump serve. And now here comes Brian Fernandez, number 24, in to serve the last point. Brian is actually one of my students and an incredibly young man. I'm excited he's getting this opportunity. And you can hear the crowd with the excitement.
A lefty.
Yes, he plays opposite.
And that may have been out on that serve.
And a nice strong finish by the Bears.
That does it. It was a nice surprising win. I think the Bears were on their A game. I knew very little about Tech except the record and their coach, but I think you pointed it out. It's a different conference. They're at a different level right now, but as you said before, soon they may be up there with the rest of us. I'll give you the last couple comments, but before we do, I want to thank you for volunteering and helping out with this production. I know the kids appreciate it, parents and the coaches, so thank you for that.
Yeah, no, thank you, Frank. It's absolutely my pleasure. I mean, it's really fun giving the guys the credit that they deserve for all the hard work they're putting in this season, and I am really excited about the postseason.
Okay, well, you heard it from the coach, and thank you for watching. From Frank Noppenberger, thank you, and go Bears.